Welcome to Hustler Nation, where the hustlers are the bloodline of this economy. We have the domestic workers, drivers, security guards, and tech is really trying to come in and disrupt and add value to these workers. So that's the topic we will be debating on today. I'll just start with the usual round of intros. Over to you, Orwa.
Hi, Chris Orwa, data scientist.
Hi, Michael Mishe, technology enthusiast and gamer.
Hi, I'm Nelly. I'm a lawyer and an advocate of the High Court.
Remy, strategic designer, UX expert.
One thing Nelly hasn't told you, I'm calling her Jeroboam. We have our connect here, and she's a lawyer. We're very excited to have her on set. We'll start with the first question that I want us to be clear about. What is a gig worker? What is the gig economy?
I think looking at the origin,
Yeah.
I think gig came from the music industry, where you'd be calling to play for a club at night, so you have like a short term. So I think it has evolved to become temporary work, which is done in a very short time, probably not more than a day at that time. So think about playing some music, washing some clothes, looking after someone's dog, looking at someone's child for a few hours and getting paid. So I think that's the fitting definition of a gig.
A gig.
Yeah.
Okay, anyone else wants to chip in into this definition?
Probably say it's how would I put it? It's more of work that's sort of contracted that you could just easily in and out of. So it's maybe a few hours, a few days or months.
Okay.
You're not really tied down to a specific employer. So there is that sort of freedom, but that also does come with its own challenges.
Yeah, awesome. I saw you wanted to say something.
They aced it. Yeah, they've said probably everything I'd want to say.
Awesome, cool. I like how you said it's contract work and you come in and out of it, which is super interesting. I think one of the most successful platforms that have figured out how to solve for the gig economy is Uber, right? So Uber's for the taxi drivers. And I often hear, if I got $1 for every time I had someone say, I want to build the next Uber for, nannies, I want to build the Uber for MamaFuas, I want to build an Uber for, everyone wants to build an Uber for the hustlers. Yeah. But then it always comes to a very interesting question, which I don't think Uber has answered, the legalities of it.
Yeah, and I mean, it's an interesting topic. If you look at, who's an independent contractor and who's versus an employee,
Yeah.
And Uber has really struggled with this. If you look at the different jurisdictions, you go to the US, there have been several cases. And at the beginning, there are some, there was a court in Florida, I believe, that actually stated that Uber workers are actually employees.
Okay.
But later on, I think that was debunked. There were, I think, some certain situations they had recognized as independent contractors. If you go to the UK, apparently, according to a particular case, they actually defined an Uber worker as an employee. So you see, that comes with its own challenges, meaning, you have to provide, for their statutory obligations, including leave days, which is paid, the NSSF. For example, in Kenya, you'll have to pay NSSF, NHIF, and all that. So in Kenya, at the moment, I believe they're still recognized as independent workers, but it's a very hot topic of conversation, and it's spread across the different platforms that, we are going to talk about today.
Awesome, cool.
I think it'll get there. The government just passed a law that caps the amount Uber can charge to drivers. So I think the regulation of them being workers, I think,
yeah.
That's
But then
25% is a lot to ask.
Yeah.
Ubers
Yeah.
are 25% commission.
Yeah, actually, I think this version of gig work that we have is a scam.
Yeah, it is.
Wow, so
It is a
so you
scam.
think gig work is a scam?
Yeah,
Yes.
it's either, is it really opportunity or exploitation?
Yeah, but remember,
But
when you look,
see, I think it's also, if you look at how Uber started, it was supposed to utilize excess capacity, if I call it so. If you are a 9 to 5 worker,
And then I want some extra cash.
so in the evening you can drive your car, and so it was never meant initially for to replace 9 to 5 work.
Are you saying the approach you've taken, if you are a 9 to 5 worker?
Yes.
Yeah.
Then I'm coming now because now there was high demand for it. Then I'll be okay, why would I drive a taxi for a taxi company? I can just convert myself and do this full-time. That now brings to the aspect that this is my full-time job, so I need to have other things taken care of. It's called Hello Tractor. Hello Tractor is, if I buy a tractor to farm my, 2 acres of land, and then it's idle for the next, I don't know, I could go and someone would come and say like, hey, there's some guy 2 kilometers from you who needs tractor services. So it's not your primary gig, it's utilizing. But once it becomes your primary gig, then now legalities is coming.
Yeah,
Exactly.
but then
That's
you
where the
remember
exploitation will start.
but then you remember we have, how we define employees versus independent contractors.
Yes.
You look at, how much control is that company having over your, over your day-to-day activities? Are they providing like equipment for you to actually work? How are they paying your salary? Is it them, or is it maybe a particular client who will be paying you directly? For example, Uber, it's the client who will be paying you directly. But I know they have like, a certain hours that you're supposed to work for them, blah, blah, blah. and all
Exactly.
that.
So
Yeah.
that's why I say, is it opportunity or exploitation? Because I feel like it's depending on what spectrum or what social class you lie in,
Yeah.
it creates a bigger wealth gap.
Yeah.
Because on the higher social classes, yes, it's cheap when you hail a taxi.
Yeah.
But what are these guys really making?
My name is Lawrence Otieno.
Lawrence Otieno, what
Yes.
do you do for a living, Lawrence Otieno?
Currently, I'm a driver.
Currently, you're a driver.
Yeah.
Okay, nice. Who do you drive for Uber, or you're just like private?
Okay, I do both.
You do both.
Uber or private.
You do Uber. Which one do you prefer?
Nowadays, private.
You prefer private.
Yeah.
Why?
Okay, Uber has become a little bit tough for me.
How?
The price,
Oh, the pricing.
the cost of fuel,
Okay.
such like.
So you would rather go into private.
Yeah.
And they're working crazy hours. They can't unionize, first of all, so they don't get health benefits. And it's very unethical, actually, if you look at it from that point of view.
It's precocious work. It's work
Yeah,
that...
it's
I'm kind of the
uncertain.
fence
Yeah,
on
very
this.
uncertain.
Yeah, so it
It's
depends
very
on what
uncertain
social.
work,
Because for us, it works well. But if you go on the ground and talk to these guys,
Yeah.
it's actually a
I'm
scam.
on the
Have
fence
it
on this because
Yeah.
let's look at the alternatives.
Yeah.
If you didn't have Uber and you bought your own car and you're
Yeah.
responsible, would you be able to get the same demand that you're getting from Uber or not? Because I know before Uber used to go to archives and there were like these crazy worn-out taxis with no seat belts. Sometimes that guy will you have to pay him up front
Yeah, man.
before do that. So Uber brought in some.
But
Some
why
balance.
can't this?
They brought in benefits
let me
to the
bring
end
out something
consumer.
very
They brought
important,
benefits
yeah.
Okay,
to the end
guys, one
consumer.
person at a time, please.
So let me bring out something very
Go,
important.
and then you.
At the end of the day, you have to ask yourself, like, who does Uber really benefit, for example? Yeah.
Both sides. Both sides.
I think the rider
sides?
more.
First of all, the gig economy came up because companies didn't want a full-time employees.
Yeah.
So when they have contractors, they pass on that liability
Yeah.
and they save about 30%. Yeah.
But I would
Okay.
also,
I'm a bit on the fence on this.
and I would actually agree with Chris for one.
It's more revenue for the company.
Yeah.
We in the
Actually-
social class, we save money, but for them, for the actual workers, it does not make sense at all.
Okay.
I'm actually curious.
Okay, so for these multifaceted businesses, and I think this is where the gig economy is at. There's the riders, who is predominantly people who can afford to take Ubers. They love it. They love it because you're getting cheap transport, affordable, and it's very convenient. But the drivers are suffering.
Hustler Nation.
I know, and it is a hustler
They're
nation.
sufferers, man.
I think this
But
is a
it's-
one-dimensional argument. Because one thing Uber is doing, it's opening up the market to you.
Yeah.
Because if you traditionally used to have like your customers. If I'm a taxi driver, I know I pick up this guy on Saturday, this guy I pick on Sunday. So you have like 5 or 7 customers, right? Then Uber is telling like, okay, now the whole population of Nairobi is now potentially your customer. The only thing you can argue is maybe that 25% rate should be come down. But the aspect of you being opened up to a larger market, I think that's great. And
I would
anyone
actually
who-
agree with that.
But there are no
Yeah.
regulations.
Exactly.
I mean, the regulations are there.
if
Maybe
I will
it's
speak
not
for
as
the
strict.
the riders. I mean the drivers.
While you're answering that, do you like, because regulation only works in certain things. Do you want regulation to be in everything you do?
No.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
in this
But you
sense,
see, we have
No,
to
no,
regulate
let's-
everything
let's-
to some
let's- because it
extent.
comes-
The
let's bring this
morality,
home.
the morality
No,
of the
let's-
gig
Let's bring
economy.
this home.
Okay,
okay.
let's bring it home.
Yes.
Charity starts at home. Tell me.
Yes, you have the person who looks after your house.
Yes.
Would you like the government to regulate that?
No.
But technically, it does sort of like
But-
it gives you a minimum.
okay,
amount you
I
want
believe
to
in
do.
capitalism, but this is the most unethical.
No, this is what's unethical about
Okay,
it.
but the question is,
do you prefer this guy
the gig
sitting at
economy
home?
is creating
Yeah.
something called the post-corporate capitalist.
I have a problem with throwing in unethical without digging down like what's unethical.
Okay. Let me use the word moral. I don't think it's morally right to actually say you're not an employee. Go out of your way, lobby within governments and other bodies to make sure that this person is a contractor so that they don't get certain benefits. Yes, you've given me access, but I am slaving to make that money, and I still have to pay you a commission, and all liability sits with me. As much as you're saying you're creating this hustler, the gig economy, yes, is there. It's not safe. It's for the better interest of the corporates. It only benefits the bosses. People at the top benefit from the gig economy and the end consumer. Show me a platform that's a gig that functions within the gig economy that actually makes a
I have
profit.
another example.
Show me one
give
that
us
makes a
one more
profit.
example and then we'll move on from this.
Yes,
Yeah.
we were talking about the boss. If you go to most gated communities, you'll find that women usually sit at the gate,
Yeah.
waiting for like some jobs.
Yes.
Right? Who's always at the gate there? The guard.
Yeah.
So the guard is now your corporate guy. Because the guard knows, like, if I want my car washed, I'll go tell the guard I want my car washed.
Yeah.
Then the guard will tell, hey, you'll wash the car for 1,000 bob. 100 bob is mine. It's like the gatekeeper,
The middleman,
the middleman
yeah.
in this. And if you don't give him some money or some portion of that, then you just stay at the gate, wait for some guy to support you to give you that job. He's providing a service at a fee, right?
Yeah.
But that's a
Is the
negotiation.
fee the problem? Or is the presence of that person
You
the
know,
problem?
in that instance, there's opportunity for negotiation.
Yeah, that's true.
In this instance, these contractual workers, they're not allowed to unionize, you know, so they don't have any opportunity to negotiate. And the government does not back them up as well, because they're not part of a union. So they end up at a loss. If you look at it from a social point of view in terms of empathy, you're working many hours, you're underpaid. This is why we have a lot of depression. A lot of things come out from
Let's
these
assume-
workers if you talk to them.
Let's
actually.
assume you're overpaid. Would it be a problem?
Nope.
So the problem is the payment, not working crazy hours.
If I'm going to work crazy hours, let my
The
fruits,
compensation.
let my work bear fruits.
So we're only arguing about money.
So here's my take on that.
Capitalism.
Here's my take on the gig economy should facilitate money, should change money to be a facilitator of your work, not sort of like the end result. That's what the gig economy would ideally
I agree, yeah.
drive to. But unfortunately, we need to sort of be capitalists, we need to be greedy, and we need to make someone suffer. And sadly,
Okay,
it's the bottom of the
I
pyramid.
want to come back to like the gig economy. Does everyone kind of feel there's the problem is being solved the right way?
Depends
Like,
on what social
okay,
class
let's take away the taxi drivers.
Yeah.
Because I think the taxi drivers, they're as much as I feel for them. Let's talk about like the domestic workers, the gardeners, the plumbers, the electricians, these guys you see on the streets, just hustling, trying to put food on the table. If there was a platform that allowed us to use them the same way as taxi drivers, are we solving like a problem there? Because a lot of these platforms, that's what they're trying to do. You're hailing, you're requesting for a electrician, they come to you. Let's dig more around that problem and how it actually works in like real life.
I don't think really it solves a problem. Because in such instances, for example, if you want a plumber, if you want to contract a plumber for your house, you're going to relate on a very personal level. Yeah. You wouldn't want a new plumber always coming to your house.
True.
Yeah, you create that relationship. Then you start transacting outside the platform. So does the platform really help?
But for the first instance, I would believe it does.
Yeah,
like
it
for,
does.
because you want convenience, you'd be like, okay, let me call Jackie. Maybe Jackie's not picking up her phone. So let me just go to this app, get a plumber. Maybe next time I'll just save his number. I'll be calling him. But for the first time, I believe it does. So
But how do we actually do things today? I would call Jackie. Hey, Jackie, do you know a plumber?
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
That's my first instinct. I wouldn't go to an app.
Yeah.
Yeah, and especially as Africans, we have like deep-rooted trust issues that I think we need to heal from. Like, I need to, as you said, I'm calling Chris because I know Chris and I respect him. Do you know this guy? If you don't know this guy, and if things don't work out, I will blame Chris.
Yeah.
You don't have someone I can go to, whether you sent me this guy.
Yeah.
You know, with today, most of today's startups don't understand that not all innovation is good innovation.
Yeah.
We cannot ignore the fact that we still need human interaction to make things work. Yeah.
I think also look at, you've asked what problem, are we solving a problem for them? So is it getting the plumber, electrician to get more jobs? Is what trying to solve for that problem?
Very good. I do think, I did speak to a few of these gig workers. They want more jobs.
Tunaweza taka pia hata hiyo teknolojia.
Technology, itakusaidia aje? How would technology help you in this case?
I'll have more customers.
Oh, so you want more customers to come to you through technology?
Yeah.
Have you ever tried using technology? I'm an app. I'm a kitio. Mwana?
Bado lakini bado nafikiria hivyo.
Kazi ya nini?
Ni kazi ya nyumbani tu.
Nikiitwa pahali. Sinaweza enda.
Unaweza enda. Unaweza tumia technology kama hiyo.
Si ndio?
Ni poa. Okay. They're happy with more jobs, with marketing, with bringing customers to them. That is what they want. So, at the end of the day, more money. Yeah.
So now when you insert technology to be the connector between all these gig workers and the people who need works done, there's a lot of, should I call it, liability that also comes with that, even if you don't look at all the other things that go around it. And I just remembered, there's a podcast you should all listen to. Yeah. It's called Hot Money.
Hot Money.
This podcast is great. It's about Financial Times reporters who are tracking who actually own porn sites in the world. So after doing all like the investigation, they came to the realization that, Visa and MasterCard, they actually allow payments like through porn sites for that. So they ended up being a regulator because they also have to clear the money through banks. They're not, the banks have to be with certain standards.
Yeah.
Like you can't have, I don't know, some crazy porn things and then you're processing money for you. If now, let's say that's Visa and MasterCard, so they had to regulate what porn can be on certain sites.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of scanners with OnlyFans, etc. So when you bring in technologies like, I want this plumber to come to this person's house. Yeah. And this guy goes and commits murder. House, then the technology becomes...
Yeah. But the funniest thing, I was able to go through some of the terms and conditions that, I think it was, is it Kazi? One of them. Yeah. And they have good documentation and good terms. They're like, first of all, what's our contractual relationship? You're an independent contractor to begin with. Just know that you'll be interacting with the client. I mean, we're not your agents, and you'll be interacting with your client. We're just a platform giving you this opportunity to interact with the clients. We don't have any liability out of, whatever will happen. And they're actually very clear with, for example, the client, they're like, just know that you will be welcoming this person into your home.
Oh, no.
Make sure that, if you'll be there or not, just know that we don't have any liability. If anything happens
as much as you write a 240-page terms and conditions that covers everything, but the liability will still, all people will find someone to hang. A very good example is if we have driverless cars and that car causes an accident, who would you sue? The guy who bought the car, the person who made the software?
That's a very philosophical question. You can't really ask. You can't really answer it yet. It's too difficult.
But of course, the same way, if something wrong happens, who facilitated this person to move from one? Okay, someone would argue...
But you see, legally, you'll go to court and you're like, you guys signed this, we're not liable, If you look at it
if
from that
wanted
angle.
to go and kill someone, with or without the app, I think
for domestic workers,
kill.
like in that instance you gave, the company is openly admitting there is no screening process.
So why do you...
But they actually said there's a screening process in that.
But
they actually said there's a screening
process. But I think a platform like that exists so that trust has to be the first thing. Yeah. Like, I want to come back to you just the way I will come back to Chris and told me, this plumber you referred me to is crap, and he's told this and you owe me for this.
How do we trust our food deliveries?
Yeah.
No, remember.
It's a good question.
The same way with an Uber driver, you hail a cab, you don't know the person, you just get into their car, you're like, I hope I get home safely. Send all the screenshots, I'm going,
But I do think, in terms of cab hailing, there's
I mean, it's
Some
still
with the
dangerous.
highest of trust. Like, to me, I rank Uber probably the highest. And then when you come to these little cabs, you're like, I wouldn't ride you at night. Oh, little cab Bolt. Like, there's cases like that have been out there of women who have been like, sexually assaulted.
Yeah.
So it's like Uber has managed to get that trust.
Yeah, but still, even okay, personally, I'm normally not like at 90% safe. I think I'm at like the 50%. I'm like, I have to take that screenshot. I am heading here.
Now that brings the problem same to the gig economy.
Yeah.
There's certain things you can't trust someone coming to your house.
Yeah.
Maybe you have a very sentimental TV. You just don't want anyone opening it.
Yeah, no, it's so true. It's very true.
So it limits but going back to the question of whether do we want to create more opportunities for the gig workers? Of course, it's great to do that. Now you create a platform which aggregates demand and pushes it to everyone else. Yeah. In situations where you have good demand and good supply, then the economics works very well, and then trust is layered on top, and everything works smoothly. Now we can have a problem where, number one, in Kenya, I don't think there's demand matches supply. I think there's oversupply and less demand.
Sure. Yeah.
We are in a low trust environment.
And especially because you're inviting these guys to your confines of your home or, to deal with you.
I don't think technology will solve the demand problem. I don't think technology will solve the trust problem.
But like Uber has managed to solve for trust to some level.
I think demand was there.
Yeah, demand is there,
Demand was there. And they've done some very good work in at least, a few incidences, but they've done a very good work in KYC, ratings, which has helped.
And I think they have strict policies to the drivers, I think they have like training and all that.
Kicking people out of platforms. So the taxi business has its own thing. So let's take that model and try and apply it. Like Kazi, where someone comes into your home, does plumbing, and then you rate him. He does the PS, he does work for somebody else. I think as you go into different domestic work, any other form of gig business, I think that same rating system might not necessarily apply to other things, because if you move from point A to point B and you're delivered, that's done.
Okay.
If someone comes and washes your dishes, what signifies that dishes are done?
First of all, they haven't broken anything to begin with.
All my dishes are there.
They're there.
Yes. So technology fails.
I think technology doesn't. Well, remember in episode 1 we said technology is not always going to solve all the problems.
True.
So the technologies that are coming in to help the gig economy are creating opportunity for the gig workers.
Yeah.
That's the first thing they do. The second thing they should do morally is, of course, yes, they've spent money. There's a commission they need to get. That commission should not be exploitative. The third thing they need to do is, of course, they're going to cut on cost. So that's why these people are contractual. That's why they're in the gig economy, so that you take away the liability of accidents, leave days, medical insurance, and all that. And that could be fine, because if I work for 10, if I have 10 different gigs and I can do them all in one day, that would be great. I don't know a single Uber driver who only is on Uber. I know people, you get this like, but I have another trip up here, Bolt watch and he cancel. I have a little, he cancels. So clearly one is not enough. So you need multiple. So when the companies, the technology companies that are bringing up this opportunity, then decide to cannibalize the drivers or the contractors in this case, and decide to cannibalize the contractors by setting up rules that you have to put in a 6-hour shift, 8-hour shift. You're not treating them like an employee, not giving them the benefits of the employee, and they cannot then have a second or third gig. As a gig worker, I don't want to have 10 gigs, but then I'm forced into one gig.
Okay, my opinion, like in terms of domestic workers, this is why I feel like it can't work.
Yeah? So just the whole idea of gig workers.
You have to remember, these guys come from a very different social class,
Yeah, I mean, that's a good point,
And they're underpaid. So imagine I'm cleaning your house, you pay me like maybe 1,000, and I'm seeing a TV there for 75K. I'll go with it. I know. My kids' school fees are probably sorted for the next 2 terms or 3 terms, whatever it is. The temptation to be bad
No, it's true.
is really high. because they're underpaid.
My mom was just telling me that
Yeah.
this morning.
That's why it helps steal small. They start with small things.
Yeah.
Before you know it, your clothes have gone. You know.
Yeah, no, it's true.
Yeah, your laptops. It's the temptation is too high because the pay is so low. So these platforms actually add to the problem
I think
rather than fix it. For
the
domestic
money,
workers, that is.
how much you're paid is part of it, but I think it's not all of it. Think if you're a kleptomaniac, you will just steal when an opportunity avails itself.
Again, the screening process.
Okay, and I want to come back to what Remy said here around like in terms of the class they're in. I know I have big frustrations, like especially in terms of like communication, how to like just how like as a business you should transact. I don't know how many times you go to your tailor, they tell you this thing will be ready in a week. Then they turn off their phone. Then you're trying to call them. That time you paid a deposit. You're like, you need to, like, I think there's just a very different way we communicate. And that brings like a lot of frustrations. And that's why I think like something like technology, will it solve it? Unless you're training these guys, in the case like Uber's done and I know like MamaFua is, then that's when you'll see a difference. But if these guys are like, by there,
Jackie, what's our culture? Like
Yes, actually-
already? Like,
Actually,
even if you meet with your friends, you make a meeting at 1. Guys show up at 4.
that's just like
It's just our culture. The foodie guy will tell you
I
like
think culture plays in. There are two examples. There's a app in Nigeria. I can't remember its name. It's for you if you want to get like a very nice Nigerian. I don't know how they call it.
those beautiful things that they wear, yeah.
Yeah, so you go there.
outfits.
Yeah, the outfits. So you go there, you choose, you go through there, you choose whatever you need, you input a couple of information, you pay, and then it goes to a tailor, the tailor makes it for you, then it gets delivered to you. And there's a similar app, a little bit different in the US, where if you like nice fitting suits, even the app has like a way of measuring you, and you get all that. The one in Nigeria has 1 million complaints. The one in the US seems to work for people who like well done suits. They're like, okay, this is the kind of thing I need. I don't have time to go to the tailor and get measured. So put in some measurement thing in the app, gets delivered in the mail. If you don't like it, you can return it.
Oh.
In Nigeria, it doesn't work. What does it boil to? Culture, professionalism.
Yeah.
The level of professionalism in the US is way much higher.
Yeah.
What's expected versus in Nigeria is like, that guy can wait. I ran out of material, so
yeah. So even like gig platforms in like Western worlds work, but it doesn't mean you can just come to a developing country
To transfer
and
the
just
same
transfer
idea.
everything.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
that's
Culture
the
is a
problem.
big part of it.
Yeah, and that's the problem.
So do you think like the products in the African market that are trying to solve for gig workers have just copy pasted without doing
correct.
that?
Yeah.
Exactly,
Yeah,
without
that's
understanding the culture.
That's why you call it Uber for clothes. Uber for, you could have given it a different name and say like, hey.
You could have diversified instead of just the simple method of I'm going to be a marketplace and you go in and pick what you like.
Yeah. So
You could diversify.
Yeah.
You could make
But
it
also
different,
technology is
have layers.
supposed to digitize what's already happening. So if laziness is there, it will digitize the laziness. If it's poor delivery, that's what will be digitized. So we're just transferring our ways of life into the platforms.
You know, for the food apps, it worked perfectly because already we had that haste culture for bodas delivering things quick. So
Yeah.
they just built on it. That one made sense. Yeah.
Speaking of the borders.
Don't bring the borders in, but anyway, bring them.
Because I was reading online that now the US, several states are passing a law against gig applications from actually giving delivery times. Because what you're promoting, especially with deliveries of food or anyone who's on any form of logistics, is reckless driving or reckless movement, and accidents will
They
happen.
need to come to Kenya.
So that's happening in Kenya, and I was trying to think, okay, since we are copy pasting, what would happen to our delivery services, which are already on a treadmill at max speed, and you're being told, use our platform. Other platforms do it in 20 minutes. We deliver in 10 minutes. Are you seeing the dangers that we are putting this gig worker in?
Yeah, that is a very valid point. Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like
Because you'll be
if you're in a place where
valid
people are just
point.
reckless
Yeah.
driving, even if you limit driving times, delivery times, it's still bound to happen because
That's
For example,
true. Like matatus, like they want
Our
to do
own
as many
government
trips.
has been trying to regulate these guys
They've not been
for
able.
years.
But
You
now,
as
Even
a
if
white
a law is
person
passed,
come in.
it will never happen.
but now
to
by
be honest.
introducing those short timings, now you're even fueling the
They're like-
craziness.
Yeah, it becomes
So-
more competitive.
So
Yeah.
we can't copy
So,
paste.
let's look at the counterfactual here. It is okay. Let's give the guy needs food in 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Deliver it at your own time because it won't just work because the reason why, unless you're like, okay, for you to order lunch, you have to order tomorrow what you'll eat. Order today what you'll eat tomorrow. So you can give the drivers ample time to make all deliveries. It is just the nature of the world. When you go to a very busy place, people want to do that, accidents would happen. Does it mean that we stop driving to work and walk to work because that's
No, we're not saying that. We're saying it has to be responsible. You cannot penalize. You cannot throw me off your app as a gig worker because I'm being told I must deliver within 15 minutes, and the entire month I've delivered in 20 minutes, and I'm removed. I'll be removed because
let's not pretend.
But yeah, I have to
end user I'm
disagree with
satisfied.
you. Me, if I'm hungry, hey, I want that food now.
But you see what we're dealing with. We're dealing with a multifaceted guys here on this end are very privileged. They want things fast, really quick. I don't care how you bring it to me.
Yeah.
And these other guys like, yo, my life is in, like, I need to be careful. I need to take my time. So that's like,
That dynamic.
that dynamics is just so...
Okay, before the delivery systems, you'd have to call a restaurant to get your food.
Yeah.
They tell you, yes, we do delivery. It'll take like 45 minutes.
How frustrating
You would
is
wait
that?
those 45 minutes and you call back, okay, 15 more minutes. The rider's on the way. Give me the rider's number. He won't pick up because he's driving. When he stops to get directions, you might see your missed call you, nimepotea, okay, give me directions. He gets directions. Now, the app is just saying, I'm going to put a screen in front of you when you're on your motorcycle. I'm going to give you the exact location of this individual. Race there. We need to deliver in 15
and yet they
minutes.
still call
You know
you.
the law of UX that never fails.
Which is?
The law of efficiency.
Okay.
You can never beat efficiency.
And you know another thing, what they'll do is that they'll ask anyone, okay, are there any riders here who want to be very quick but will earn double?
Yes. That is so true. Yeah.
I doubt they undouble. I doubt
No,
they
I'm
undouble.
just hypothetically saying.
Yeah.
So we have two categories of riders. Riders who, like, they take your
They'll take their time,
get
yeah.
your food when it is very cold and you can rewarm it. And the people tell you will get it fresh from the restaurant. I'm very sure 90% of the riders will go to that
Yeah.
because I'm all about making money.
Yeah.
I'll risk it, all about money. And I think, for example, let's look at the border guys. If we had like a special lane for borders that they don't have to go with other cars, I think that by itself could halve the number of accidents.
Yeah, that's so true.
Yeah.
So you see, we also have infrastructural problem.
Huge.
Yeah, so this is nothing to do with the app companies saying
Yeah.
you deliver this in 10 minutes.
Another infrastructure problem
maybe
is
we're
the
just
fact
a
that
very unruly
Postal-
society.
And I just think like
Kenyans.
we are.
It's like when we
We're
hear
in-
laws, it's like now
We're
we
not-
just want to
don't want
oppose.
laws.
Yeah.
Don't.
We're a dark continent, full of dark people with very dark thoughts.
We don't like being told what to do.
Okay, let's bring it back. I think when I asked the question is, you guys believe that, and lady believe that the research they've not done good research, especially the tech companies in Kenya. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
Okay, so there are very many out there. I think some have even closed down. And I just picked 3 at random. So I looked at one that you've talked about, Kazi. We looked at MamaFua, and we also looked at Fundis. So Kazi kind of does everything, like in terms of anyone in the gig economy, be it a plumber, be it a saloonist, you want to do your nails, you want to get your hair blow dried, come to this platform. We will connect you with them. Then there is MamaFua. So MamaFua is very specific to the mamas who fua clothes or wash your house. And then Fundis is the plumbers, the electricians, who use their hands. So those are like the 3. I'll start with Kazi. I think my first experience with it, I downloaded it. I didn't look at the terms and conditions like you because I'm not legal. I'm just like, whatever.
But you ticked it on like,
I'm like, accept. I think the first reaction was, apa kazi, hakuna kazi. Like, everyone has 0 jobs done. And then it's like, everything. It's so convoluted. I'm trying to find I think I was just trying to find someone to come do the washing. I was like, this is impossible. There's then the UI has their stories. I think he's looking at whoever's building this app is looking at bringing the stories into the platform. And I found that really interesting. And I know all of you guys tried to download Kazi and have a play with it. Just wanted to hear your thoughts on, how you felt interacting with it.
I think first of all, we have to start. For example, I'm looking for, electrician, plumber. I would go there and request for a plumber. I don't know anything about that plumber. I don't know where they're coming from. I don't know how long it will take them to get to to my place. So I felt like there was that gap. But although, of course, you can say you can chat. There's a chat feature where you can talk and give all the details about where you are, what tool should you carry, and all that. So a bit hesitant to do that. But I think the reason why you say Apa Kuna Kazi, it's because I think the app, and if you look at the story, it looks at, we have I think unemployment rate of the youth is about 35%.
Okay.
So it looks at the unemployed people as the source of the gig people who need these jobs, or informal jobs where you have one gig or that. When you're looking at the total addressable market, I think that it should be the opposite. How many people need plumbing services? How many people need electricians?
Yeah, so
how
true.
often for that? So I think they looked at the wrong problem. Okay, we have all these people, we can onboard them. They have some form of training, and then they turn around okay, there is no work. So how do you generate that?
Literally, that was my first reaction. I'm like, there's no work here. Why am I here?
So because they have
Makes sense.
they have two apps similar to Uber, so the driver apps and the rider app. So you also have the worker app, and you have now the if you're looking to give out work. So I had both of them. So if you're a worker and you're looking for work, you're just refreshing and refreshing, and then at some point, okay. I don't think there's much happening there. I think you need to sell specific services first, very well, and then be the person who guarantees that.
Okay.
Should I call it transaction?
Yeah.
That the person will come to you.
The escrow.
Yes, become the way banks do trade finance. Okay, I'll guarantee this transaction.
Yep.
So you can have humans there who actually hey, you've just made a request of a cleaner. Yeah, we have 3 cleaners. I will send the person. You can track them on the app. I think that's how it's supposed to start. Until where now you're able to scale.
And then just doing everything.
Now you've reached a critical mass, and then now you can have it as a consumer app. So I think going as a consumer app booming Kazi.
I like that.
But for me, okay.
Kazi, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think it works, to be honest, if I'm going to be frank. You can't copy-paste things from Western worlds and bring them here. Yeah?
But are we not creative as Africans?
Number 2, you have to, such companies, when they come into our market,
it's all good.
When they come to our market, they don't do enough research.
Yeah.
Because our market is based on, we have a very strong referral system.
Culture.
Very, very strong.
And
especially
word of
for
mouth.
domestic, and word of mouth.
Yeah.
Especially for domestic workers. If it was maybe in the tech space or design space, things like Upwork have shown to work really, really well.
Yeah.
But plumbing and all, I can't even go to Gigi. Worst case scenario, And they have a list of services that work actually quite well.
Because then why don't you build a referral app? If I go and find a good gardener, and then the way how initial periods of Facebook or social apps where you are allowed to invite people. So you can invite your friends, and then you can only get a job when somebody who's already in the platform refers someone to you.
Please, Chris, you're going to up us to death at this point.
No, I'm just saying, if I can just go to
You're
my
not going to
phone
be,
book
you'll
and
have a
call you.
middleman in that
I can WhatsApp you.
There are some
The question is, your customer journey, if you're just going to throw apps to the problem, it's not going to work.
I'm just saying, we've understood that we're a referral society, right?
Yeah.
Then your app should have some referral feature in it.
But Kazi does have a referral feature in it.
But it doesn't start. It doesn't start.
It doesn't start that. It doesn't start that way.
I would want, if I'm using an app for a gig platform that is Kazi, and I feel Kazi has too much going on. So, if it was just specifically for plumbers or electricians, I'd have a bit more trust. This is anything goes.
Specialized in this.
This is an anything goes platform.
I think that's
so
the way they can solve
it feels like one, it feels risky for me.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know the quality I'm getting. To the fact that I don't know if the guy's gonna show up or not. You see, with Uber, they've built in the trust where you can track the driver and you see he's 2 minutes away. So now that efficiency you mentioned with UX, if I could see the guys on the way, because then I've had these problems where the kitchen tells you I'll be there by 9 a.m.
Remember,
You don't get to leave the house until 2 p.m. because the
to be honest,
guys will
I
show
still wouldn't use Kazi benefits like that. Remember, these guys don't screen these guys. Let's start there.
Yeah, your problem.
If I get a plumber from Jackie, I'll hold Jackie accountable.
Yeah, really.
So that's now. So now the app should first embed a referral system. Like when I, for example, the new version, okay, a new gig, not Kazi, would be I join the platform because Jackie sent me a referral code to join. I join. I have a connection with Jackie. I see people Jackie has contracted. I see them on that list, and then I may decide to use one of those ones from there. Alternatively, I could, if someone has made their profile public, I could see, I didn't know Chris was on this platform. Okay. He's had 3 different electricians. I'm never going to trust Chris with electricians, so no. He's poor picking. And you could then build that tree, the branches out, and you can see all that trust. That's how I would build for Africa.
So,
Cool.
someone said
Anyone? Yeah. Go.
from his point that it will never work. There are innovators, imitators, and fools, right? So innovators are the people who sit down and think through the problems very well and come up with a very fitting solution. Then imitators are people who are smart copiers. They copy what works. And then fools are the ones who take things and just plant that and hope that it works without considering.
Okay, any where do you think Kazi lay?
Between the innovators, imitators, and fools.
I was going to say, like, just somewhere in between. You're going to be blunt. Right?
Okay, do you guys have any other extra thoughts around Kazi? Jeroboam? Yeah?
Yeah, I mean, I liked your solution to that. I mean, they have to at least solve a particular field, a particular industry. That way we can trust them more. I think that would be a good solution to that.
Awesome. Michelle?
Get rid of that PO box section. As in, it's a gig economy and you're treating it like a banking KYC. That's copy pasted everything. Unfortunately, it's the bottom barrel of copy pasting. Because PO boxes are not that. We don't, and street numbers, PO boxes, house numbers. These are not common things for the larger economy
workers,
and also for gig workers. So build it to make sense.
Awesome, cool. So a few of you have said that you feel like Kazi is just doing too much.
Yeah. Okay, I'm not saying that I don't think it can't work.
You can say that.
But let me rephrase. It can't work for domestic workers. If it was a platform where it promotes, for example, like we're in tech, like tech guys, the local tech industry or lawyers and all that.
That's right.
That would work perfectly.
Kuhastle.
What?
Kuhastle, you know Kuhastle?
Yeah, I know Kuhastle, but I don't know why it's not gaining traction. But,
Oh yeah, shout out to Kuhastle.
Yeah, but those guys have something going on there. You can see there's something.
Yeah. All right, cool. So we've talked about how we'd prefer and you felt like if they drill into like one sector. So introducing like now MamaFua. I think it's a pretty cool concept. Again, requesting for women who come to wash like clothes in your house. And Steve has like 2 options. So one of them is like if you're not comfortable with someone coming to your house, we can pick up, deliver, and wash at our laundromats. And they have laundromats located at like universities.
We are actually setting this up, the very first being at Daystar. So we are intending to actually because we've taken another set of machines at USIU. Mm-hmm. We have another space that we've gotten at Catholic University.
Awesome.
So with that, those are the first 3 universities that we want to start with.
So kind of that is their business model. I just wanted us to compare that to say now Kazi.
I think I like the business model.
Yeah.
I think especially when they pivoted to having laundromats.
Yeah.
I think that's great. I even think having laundromats can even open you up to a B2B
Exactly.
setups where hospitals, hotels,
Yes.
restaurants can send all their laundry
Yeah.
to you, and then now you have the consumer market where people who have considerable clothes pack them up in a week and then send them there. But I like that. Do they need technology for that? Part I think they do. For the consumer part, I think they do. For the B2B part, you just go sign deals with businesses and then you call them up and then you come and do it. Second, we already use MamaFuas a lot.
Yes, we do.
It's part of our culture.
It's already part of our culture. Either they come in and wash when you are in the house, or
With your eyes on them everywhere.
Of course, because we don't trust them. Exactly.
yeah. So the only part about taking off your clothes, what if they get lost in transit?
Yeah.
If they come back with holes, without all kind of stuff, and you have your very expensive, I don't know, Gucci and all kind of. So I think that's the only element that I feel like maybe insurance. If they layer in insurance, it can take care of that as they think of scaling. But overall, I think I like it.
Awesome.
I also like it too. The fact that they've pivoted into several segments. They've focused on one thing.
Yes.
MamaFua. But this MamaFua doesn't have to be always coming to your house.
Yeah.
There's also the laundromat. There's the laundromat service, which is good. I think that makes the app a lot much better. I think I wouldn't. Okay, and also there's like what you're touching on that lack of security, feeling like you've given out clothes, you're not sure what condition they'd come back in. I don't know. Sometimes maybe like certain clothes need to be washed in a certain way. I don't know how the app will show that level of trust that, or if they could offer trainings and sort of like certify them as their own contractors. But then I don't know, then would they then form a union and maybe will tell us if they'll form a union and become employees and then 30% then the app then becomes the business not sustainable.
Let me challenge you. Yeah. If you think about it, do MamaFuas and the hand washing clothes, do they know how some of your clothes are supposed to wash?
No, but when they come, I mean, when they're in the house.
Let me give a good example. Let me give a good example. You have a basket where you put all your dirty laundry.
Yeah.
Some are supposed to be hand washed.
Okay.
Others are written machine wash
that's
only.
true.
Others are for dry cleaning. Just put you don't.
But
I don't think.
we never read those.
This is from an experience where I was a bit lazy, so I threw my suit in there.
What?
I just saw that suit hanging on my. I'm back from work. I'm seeing my suit hanging.
Was it a MamaFua who washed?
Yes, it was shriveled. The thing was, and now I'm thinking there's certain clothes which, if you wash with hot or cold water, they shrink.
Yeah.
So if they were trained how to do that, and then the clothes come back ironed, then they're trained and they're sort of like the way you have like on Yelp, you get that use Yelp stickers. Yeah. Yelp hasn't taught these restaurants how to cook, but they've because people trust them. So now my question is, how do we build that trust? I think that's the thing.
Just on the training, he actually does train them a hell lot.
Yeah. In Eldred with 250. Practically trained MamaFuas. Yeah, like practically trained, because what we did was like get a house, furnish it.
And also trains them on like customer service and just like how to wash, how to clean a house from top to bottom, like really well.
That's perfect.
And washing clothes as well.
Yeah.
So and I think that's like in terms of costs, that is like his biggest costs is like,
So they do both hand wash and machine wash.
So depending what you want,
Okay.
Yeah.
That's great.
Any other thoughts?
I think I also like the concept. Maybe my only issue would be the part where you're taking your clothes and you're not sure, like, okay, will this come back? Yeah, but I like the concept.
What happens if something gets lost?
I think that's where insurance comes in, yeah?
So like, you have this rare shirt that you got it, hand-painted shirt from famous artists.
Or even just some sentimental shirt.
You can't get replaced.
Your favorite.
But I think if you're scaling, you're not looking at servicing like people with a very unique clothes.
Yeah, those ones go to Kina White Rose and...
Yeah, you take them to where you're willing to pay premium. This is like, think about like a children's home.
Yeah.
Where they have like so many clothes and they just need this cleaned up so that the children can put it in. Like, okay, call in MamaFua, we'll contract you every weekend. You pick in, 10 kgs of clothes, just clean them up, iron them, bring them back. I think that's the market.
Yeah. And everyone said Chris didn't love anything, but then vouching for something.
It makes sense. So first of all, we asked if would I use it?
Yes.
I think it would, and I'm thinking if you're a single guy and
Yes, exactly. That is the demographics. Yeah.
yeah, you're a single guy, you're like, there's this MamaFua thing, it's like 1,000. So you just put on your clothes every Saturday, you just drop them somewhere, they get cleaned up. I think I would use it.
Awesome. Cool. Any last thoughts, Remy?
Yeah, I think from the service offerings and as you mentioned, they're well trained.
Yeah.
I would definitely use it. It's a brilliant idea.
Cool.
Yeah, perfect approach. So kudos to them.
Hot. Love. And then the next one was Fundis. I didn't manage to kind of log into the app. And I don't know whether they have, like the website says they're in Kenya. It's a Kenyan one, but the app doesn't. I don't know if any of you managed to log into the app.
No.
Okay. So I guess, but again, the concept, the idea is like we're connecting you to electricians, plumbers. I mean, I think even quite recently I saw they got funding.
I think
Do these VCs understand what they're funding and
The VCs
how
are part of the
markets-
problem.
Yeah, the VCs are part of the problem.
what do you mean part of the problem?
They're part
I'm
of.
just a money man, just looking to make a buck. That's it.
So yes, you need to make a buck. And like I'd asked before, I'd like an example of a gig platform that's profitable. The largest being Uber is not profitable.
Yeah.
And I'm sure the rest are not making money because their goal is, if they're building on the scale model and speculation, a lot of speculation. And Uber is like, maybe in 10 years, we'll have self-driving cars, maybe in 50 years, but we can, as long as we invest, we are being paid, as ourselves are being paid to use these services because you can look how much you're paying for some of these services on gig platforms is so cheap. You actually wonder how much is this person actually getting out of it. And how many times has someone told you, can you pay me off the platform? Or can I come work with you off the platform?
Can I get your number?
If VCs were responsible enough to be like, you don't need to give me 10x in 3 years. Give me 10x in 10 years.
One thing you can never
I think they'd
eradicate
build
in
it
life is human greed. Just want to make money, whatever makes money. So
Not everyone is greedy.
All humans are greedy. That's one thing you're born with. That's why you want to live in a nice place. You want more salary. Only people say like, can we make it more responsible? And like, okay, but if I have $1 million and I want to push it into a business, and this business has too many restrictions, I will push it where there's less restriction. That's just human nature.
Yeah, but then the question is, okay, yes, humans are greedy. There is too much greed. How much money is enough money for you to live your
Never
life?
enough.
Enough is enough.
So you see now. So all four of you, this is evidence. All four of you right now in my head are sitting in VC farms, and you're all like, it's never enough. You're there. You're there. No. Let's not get into
You're a
that.
social justice warrior.
Yes, I think it should be fair. It should be fair to everyone because.
But I think Michael, you've asked a question. Like we've seen, the rich are only getting richer.
Yes.
Like, there's never enough.
There's an example.
every time,
I have an example. You know Adam Newman.
that guy.
The WeWork guy.
No. He just launched another.
Flow.
It's called He launched Flow and he raised 350 million.
Exactly. You
And
know
people
how.
were mad, like people of color, women will never get a second chance in life after this fall. VC people are shit. And then I was like, but it's their money.
Yeah.
If they're going to lose it, it is their money.
It's their money,
You
exactly.
cannot tell me how I should use my money.
Yes,
I can buy 10 jets. I can have 10 wives. I can decide that I want to call it on a ex-con. It
is true.
And has money.
Yes, there's the freedom to use your own money, but where's the responsibility?
But
I have money. My money.
Why do I need to care about that?
Why
So
Okay, guys, let's this conversation. Let's go back to Kazi and what is MamaFua. Let's
we did use his rating card.
No, we're coming to that. Yeah, now Remy knows everyone is your rating card. Let's go, Kazi.
Patented.
What do you rate?
We're not done with Fundis.
I wasn't able to download anything.
Hatuna maoni.
They had a brilliant website.
I had
They
a
were
point-
covered by Americans, and I was like, let me go download.
Yeah.
Not
I
working.
think, for example, if you have an accredited body, because like an electrician, you want to know that he has gone through some diploma
that's true.
course, something like that. So when these are like accredited, accreditation can be ish, but assuming that it works very well, this is an accredited electrician has this list of work, and we have verification that they've done this work and then I think it would work.
But I don't actually
I
care
also
if
thought
someone is
ICT.
strict.
I thought you guys in tech refused.
Oh, they wanted
the
it.
ICT
But
bill.
No, we
Yes,
wanted
for
it.
it.
You wanted it.
Yeah,
Because
guys, let's
I
not
want it.
digress.
No, we're not digressing because the reason why it's
It's a
there
point,
is
yeah.
The problem
because some
is
of these
because-
founders are coming to Kenya as tech specialists, but you find that they're
And they were
DJs
bars and
abroad.
DJs, and then now they're
They're just not rich
CEOs.
people. Yeah. It's crazy. And they're running
But
tech
can they
companies.
do the work? That's the question.
There are
most of them-
professions where you want accreditations.
Yeah.
And there are professions where you don't need accreditation.
Exactly.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Yeah.
You won't want a doctor who has never gone to a medical
Yeah.
school, right?
Yeah.
You don't want an engineer who has not gone through some form of accreditation. Software development is not necessarily a place where you can actually have an accreditation.
Yeah, you shouldn't need to have
You
one.
don't need it.
It's an art, it's a
like
What
passion.
about you saying electricians and
electricians
plumbers?
need. They're like
Oh, sorry, not
my
electricians,
God,
but
electrician.
like
plumbers
plumbers
do
maybe.
need.
Yeah.
But actually, no,
Yeah.
me, to be honest, I don't care.
I do because if you've ever done construction and then
Like, but okay, construction, but to fix up
Like,
plumbers,
yeah,
let me tell you, like
Yeah.
a plumber would do. Once upon a time, I was building a house, and they're like, "Hey, so you're a plumber, do this thing." And then this guy put in a pipe that went straight in the middle of the house. Then after 1 year, the pipe blocked. Then also like we have to dig. Then I realized that actually the pipe is supposed to run along, not between there. Then I was
You're
like,
saving
if
on
you went
material.
to school, you should have known
But
this.
that is
don't
the
know.
same thing as software engineers. If you went to school,
Yeah.
No,
you should
that's
have.
why software does not have standards.
Okay.
Software doesn't have standards.
But there's like software
The-
engineers.
There are
best
software
practice.
things you can
Yeah,
do, but
they have
for
coding practices.
Yeah, they're best.
a practice is not a standard. A practice
Yeah,
is
best
like
practice.
how we do things.
Yeah.
Let me find an example. What is a weird example?
Commenting, how you comment on
No,
code.
not like in work, just general
Oh,
work.
okay.
Can sex work have standards?
No.
No.
Because someone has a way of doing it and practice and how they did it, right? So you can't say like, okay, for you to get to this platform, you can
Wait,
do
what do you
this
mean?
style,
There
this-
should be standards.
What do you mean?
Yeah, man.
There's a
Anyway, guys, by the no,
we-
cut.
You
Coming back
you
to
have
that-
to know what you're doing.
That's a practice, not a
Yeah, it's a
standard. So coming back to Fundis,
Yeah.
I think if you have accreditation, I think it would help. And then previous, I'd say a portfolio that should be enough to make the trust go much higher.
Yeah,
Awesome.
true.
Cool.
Agreed.
But I don't think we'll rate them because, like,
Okay.
yeah, we'll just do Kazi and MamaFua
Okay.
for now. We'll start with Kazi. In terms of desirability.
From 1 to 5.
Yes.
5 being the highest, 1 being the lowest.
Yeah.
1.
Oh, okay. Viability,
1.
feasibility,
2.
and the design.
It was okay-ish. I'll give it a 3.
A 3. Okay, cool. Remy?
Yeah.
Viability,
1,
feasibility,
2,
desirability,
0. Domestic workers now.
sustainability,
0.
design.
I'll give it a 3 as well. Yeah.
Really, you'd give that? Okay. Anyway, I'm not meant to be.
It's not so bad. I've seen worse, man.
Okay,
There are horror
Michelle.
stories out here.
Okay. What's the first one?
Viability,
1.
feasibility.
Can you give a point something?
Yeah, sure.
0.5.
Wow.
Contractor.
Desirability,
0.
sustainability,
0.
design.
I don't know. I think it's their colors, so I'll give them a 2.
You guys are really spending this stuff. Jeroboam,
The colors
Okay.
helped it from a 1 to a 2.
the viability,
I think 1.
feasibility,
1 as well.
desirability,
2.
sustainability,
Maybe 2 as well.
and design.
3. I'll give it a 3. It was actually a good platform.
Hey. Okay. Okay, then now we're moving on to MamaFua's. I think I'll start with you, Remy. In terms of the viability.
5 star.
Awesome. Feasibility.
5.
Desirability.
5.
Sustainability.
Maybe 3.
And design.
I'd give it a 4.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Jeroboam.
It was
Your
viability
vote-
first, yeah?
Yeah. Viability, sorry.
Viability, I would say 4,
Feasibility.
5,
Desirability.
a 4.5 maybe,
Sustainability.
5.
And design.
The design, maybe 4.
4.
Yeah.
Cool. Monsieur.
Viability,
Yeah, viability.
5.
Feasibility.
5.
Desirability.
4.
Sustainability.
3.
Design.
Give them a 4.
Cool. Au revoir.
Okay, starting with
Your first love.
Viability. Yeah. Let's listen. That's how we ended with him. Viability.
I think viability, I'll give them 4. I think it's very viable. You already
Yeah.
did that.
Feasibility.
It's easy to implement, move it across major cities,
Yeah.
towns in Kenya. So I'd give them 5.
And even outside the world, yeah.
Yeah.
Not outside the world, not too much. Outside Kenya.
Okay, Elon Musk.
Desirability, I'd give them a 3 because I don't think everyone would like to use them. But I think there's a section of people.
Yes.
Yes, I don't think it will. So like I'm half, but sorry, let me give them a 3.
Okay. Sustainability.
I think it is. We always have people looking for jobs. People who are looking in between jobs. We always have that population of people. So I think it's very feasible to run it over a long time. So I'd give them a 5.
And design.
Design was okay. I liked it. I'd give them a 4.
Nice. There you go. Such high scores from Orba. We are expecting huge things from MamaFua. And like, to be honest, these are the platforms we don't even hear most about. Like really great like ideas. Yeah, but we don't hear about them.
Yeah.
Good things don't make noise.
Good things don't make noise. But and one of my hopes for like this conversation startup review is to bring this like really great ideas onto people's screens, people talking about them, let them get the funding, things like we could like.
Do you think they'll raise funding?
They should.
Should they raise funding?
So far he has not.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I like that you can bootstrap until the point where you're no longer able to run your cash flow is very thin. Then you can raise at that point.
Or just IPO.
IPO startup. It never happened in Kenya.
To Kenya, my guy. To Kenya.
Very great. No, there's the Inuka program at Nairobi Stock Exchange where they allow small businesses to list, but on a different segment.
Yeah.
Where I think it's only
awesome.
homeboys, and I can't remember the other one.
I'm sure the KYC is grueling, that's why it's only one. Maybe.
Okay.
It's
Cool.
a bad
But so
assumption, maybe.
you guys are happy with them. You've given them high scores.
Yeah, but I had one question for Chris. He said like, because MamaFua could actually expand, I think you gave them a 5 or something, yeah? But you gave Kazi a 0 for that. But sorry, not expanding, but you said because people actually would get jobs. People actually need jobs.
The problem of needing jobs and being able to provide those people with jobs are different things. If I come to the Kazi platform for 2 weeks with 0 jobs, I'll disappear.
Yeah.
I'll not waste my time. I have my bundles on to always keep if there's work. So, and then you have human behavior to deal with. Or also, so I don't think it will be viable unless they cut it down into a very specific thing.
Very specific.
And you know what? And you know, once to delete an app from your phone, like re-downloading it.
It's painful.
And remember, there are also competitors to Kazi.
Yes.
There's one called Kazi Plus.
Oh, that's why there's so many of them.
There's so many.
There's also Ajira, I think. There was also another called Ajira.
Oh, I thought it was Jira. So I was thinking Jira. I was like,
There's also Ajira, which was somehow like a government initiative with another company to help young people get jobs. So I'll have like 10 of such
10 platforms.
10 platforms. I'm like, is there Kazi Plus? I'm like,
But then let me just call this guy. And they might know, because that's literally what we do. We call people and ask them, Do you have a good nanny? Do you have a good plumber?
Yeah, kind of thing. So
Yeah.
I don't think expanding it, you'll have a very large operational team just dealing with someone never showed up. So I think have
Okay.
The customer service.
Awesome. Cool. Thanks for listening. And as usual, comment, share, feedback. Until next time. Bye.